One of the big questions is,
what is money?
For practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, very different databases.
do you believe in crypto?
Digital currency may be an answer, but it is the highly speculative asset.
I do own Bitcoin.
There is no second best.
Welcome to the Crypto Curious podcast. Every Wednesday, we dive into the dynamic world of crypto. If you're new to the space, we recommend going back to our early episodes where we give you a solid foundation to understand the crypto world. And for the Crypto Curious, the seasoned addict or the industry insiders, we're here to help you unpack the latest digital news.
This week, $560 billion was wiped off the crypto market because of Trump's tariffs. As well as that, we've seen Venice AI hit a $1.5 billion valuation, and this has lost 50% of its value over the last few days. So we'll talk about this and whether insider traders have been cashing out. So join myself, Tracy, and Craig on this week's episode of the Crypto Curious, where we break down the weekly news, and what a week it has been, guys. Trace, how you been?
Good, mate. Craig, how you going?
I'm very good, Blake. We're all a bit rattled. I think that intro took about 5 times to get right, but we're here to go through what the hell has been happening in the last week. Some scary times, but let's get into it.
I must say, the last week has been one of the craziest weeks in crypto that we've seen in a very long time. And you're right, we've been up all week trying to figure out what the hell is going on, because the market is volatile as it has ever been. I think we saw Ethereum drop 35% in 12 hours, which is absolutely ridiculous. And $2 billion of liquidations coming off the market, catching all of the traders off guard because of Trump's comments about tariffs. Now, he said he was going to impose tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. And since then, since the weekend, he's backtracked and made deals with them, which turns out to be a posturing strategy from Trump. So, yeah, let's break down what's going on here, Trace.
Like you said, these were actually the biggest liquidations, bigger than FTX, COVID, and Luna. So this is the biggest that we've ever seen. And in that 24-hour period time. But it just doesn't, I know you've just talked about the panic that happened, but it doesn't feel as full on to me. How do you feel?
Yeah, when Terra Luna and FTX was crashing, it felt like the world was coming down, and I didn't even want to look at my computer screen or my phone. However, I think what's really interesting here is this happened so quickly, and it happened in a bull market. And it happened out of hours. What I mean by that is out of trading hours of traditional stock markets. So traditional stock markets weren't really affected in the same way as crypto was. And it looks like everyone freaked out and created a liquidation cascade, which creates a compounding issue here. So yeah, really hard to figure out what was going on and what was the reason behind it, particularly because it was uncorrelated with traditional markets.
I guess I'm trying to work out that timeline, because we know that it was Trump and these tariffs, and you've just mentioned the 3 people, China, Canada, and Mexico, that was the issue. But we did not see these massive liquidations happen until Sunday US time. And we're talking here on Tuesday, and a lot of those have rebounded. And we know that the prices have rebounded because he's spoken with Mexico, and they've now put a pause on those tariffs for another month. And we also know he's spoken with Trudeau in Canada, and he's put a pause on those. So the uncertainty there has come away. But crypto got hit hard on Sunday. And I know that we are 24/7. I mean, the stock market wasn't open. People are going to run and take risks off the table, and crypto is the one. But I don't understand why it happened Sunday.
I think this is a bit of a straw that broke the camel's back. I think the market was already following the whole Fed announcement last week that we covered on the show, how quantitative tightening isn't coming to an end just yet. So I think traders seeing that, as well as these tariffs things, I think it just was the final push over the edge for crypto to wash out a lot of leverage. As you mentioned, Trace, we're still in the bull market, and the bounces that we've seen today illustrates that. And I think it feels different to FTX and Luna because there was cascading effects from those things. FTX going down, obviously there's going to be sell pressure from Alameda, Luna as well, that had the whole USD depegging. So that actually felt worse because we were like, holy shit, this is like, people are going to have to sell like to survive. Whereas this, it just felt like crypto was already a little bit weak and it just needed an excuse to dump. And that's what we got. We got a huge liquidation.
And there were rumors running around, Craig, that Trump's family, Eric Trump, was posting about Ethereum is now a great time to buy after losing 35% of its value. And is this correct that the Liberty Finance, they bought $500 million worth of Ethereum in the dip as it spiked down?
Craig, that's correct.
Yeah, this is it, buying hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum. Eric Trump actually posted, now's a good time to buy a thank me later. And then he edited the post and removed the thank me later because surely that's violating some sort of instant trading laws. But what is interesting about this whole liquidation cascade, and Tracy mentioned $500 million whopped in market cap. And there was a number bit quoted that it was $2 billion in liquidations. But to me, that honestly sounded a little bit small.
I think that was over the 24-hour period. It may have been more over the last 3 days. Yeah.
Well, Ben from Bybit, who's been in the game for a while, he actually put a tweet up today and he said the real liquidation number that's being quoted of 2 billion is actually a lot more. He estimates it's between 8 and 10 billion. He thinks Bybit's 24-hour exchange liquidation alone was 2.1 billion. So the exchange has had an absolute great day with leverage traders being washed out. So he said from now on, they're going to post all transparent liquidation data. So this could actually work out to be a lot bigger than that 2.1 that we've quoted before.
And I think there's been some other interesting developments overnight with David Sachs, the crypto czar, coming out and doing a press release tomorrow, Australian time, 2 a.m. or something like that, to talk about the new sovereign wealth fund that's been enacted through an executive order by Donald Trump. And Trace, who was with Donald when he signed this one off? Pretty interesting stuff here.
So what happened was 12 hours ago, President Trump signed an executive order calling for the creation of a sovereign wealth fund. Now, he did that in the Oval Office, looking amazing with all the press there, with the big booms hanging over him, and 2 guys, suited and booted, standing next to him, flanking. And these 2 guys got a lot of press and a lot of talk. Now, there was Howard Lutnick. Now, Howard is the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. So one of these guys owns hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin and the other has a 5% stake in Tether. So both of these guys obviously heavy in the crypto space. Which
flanking Trump as he signs the executive order to have a sovereign wealth fund. So this could really tie in with the strategic reserve and could create legal avenue for them to execute on this crypto stockpile. So it's just incredible to see all this stuff happening. I think there's a lot of undercurrents here. We see Eric Trump posting about the Trump family buying $500 million worth of Ethereum through one of their entities, and then this one all within hours of one another or days. So it's hard to keep up with what's going on.
I think going through the story now, it feels like a bit of tinfoil hat situation. Like the market dumps. Literally the next day, he says sovereign wealth fund, David Sachs on the law tomorrow, and then Eric Trump buying.
So David Sachs, they then came out and said he is having a press conference about the digital asset group, working group. They're finally, because they've not actually spoken about that yet. So that's happening tonight, Aussie time, where he's going to announce what's going to happen with that. For the first time, he's actually going to speak about that. I also want to point out too that Congress needs to approve anything that happens with that sovereign wealth group.
Well, the sovereign wealth fund, if I was to take a guess, it wouldn't be anything crypto related.
He's talking about putting TikTok. So when he signed the order, he said, wouldn't it be interesting if we put TikTok in here? He likes to put his little Easter eggs everywhere, doesn't he?
So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
But again, it's been a wild 48 hours.
It's a whirlwind.
Yeah, and I just feel that we are going to be smacked about for the next few months when it comes to what's going on in the US. Maybe not. Maybe Trump's still just getting his footing. He's coming in, and at the moment he's doing everything that he said he was going to do. Okay, well, look, no doubt we'll be talking about a load more that's happening in the US again next week. So we'll leave that story there, guys. And let's move on to the Venice AI story that we mentioned up the top there. And we did break this story at the end of the podcast last week. We mentioned it because it was only just starting as we were recording last week. And this one is the Venice AI token. It made headlines throughout the week with a massive 1.6 billion valuation before it plummeted 50% as insider trading concerns rocketed the project. So what happens and why does this matter? Did you guys look into this one a little bit?
Yeah, so this was that project that was promising private access to the DeepSeek. Well, how long does DeepSeek feel ago? DeepSeek feels like it was 3 months ago. That was literally last week that DeepSeek rocked the market. Yeah, Venice AI, couple of red flags here. This is a bit of a conspiracy episode, I think, because the token was launched pretty much on Coinbase on day one, which is unheard of. And reports surfaced that contributors from Aerodome Finance, which was a partner in the Venice launch, bought up the VV tokens before the public had a chance. So that a couple of $1 million on launch day. So this sparked a bit of outrage on crypto Twitter, and it soared up to $20, back down to $10, and now it's at $4. So gone down to 50%. What did you guys make of this?
Well, after we spoke about it briefly, I went and had a look on crypto Twitter, and there was a lot of calls or key influence people on Twitter that had been sent free tokens of this VVV and were going to cash out. And they all started this thread of how surprised they were that it had been listed straight away on Coinbase, which I remember I mentioned it to you and you said, well, they would have done their due diligence like they do. So it was very surprising that they had listed on day one there.
Saying that, guys, I have a friend who is a really good trader, and he said something interesting to me a couple of weeks ago. He said, as soon as you see something on X or crypto Twitter, that means they're just promoting it to retail investors so you'll exit liquidity.
Well, you were for these Aerodrome guys who got in super early, apparently. But they have come out and said that they suspended these two guys, right? So they didn't even come out and go, no, that's not true. They came out and went, yep, sorry, we've sent them on our way.
With a couple $1 million.
I do think it's interesting the proposition that they're making. Venice AI is saying that, all other AI platforms connected to your Twitter account, your email, where they're promising to be a fully private, pay a $150 annual fee. There's nothing that ties back to you. And it sort of has that crypto law to it in the sense that, your data is protected. But on the flip side, the Venice AI website has no details around who the founders are, where their headquarters are. But clearly there's some powerful people behind this to get a Coinbase listing on day one.
Coinbase have doubled down on it. All week they've been backing this, saying they think it's going to be one of the movers for the year. They love this coin. So yeah, it's an interesting one, this one.
But regardless, it has 450,000 registered users and is handling over 15,000 AI requests per hour. So it is getting usage. So maybe at $4 trades.
But I wonder if it had done okay without this drama or controversy surrounding it.
Well, they say all PR is good PR.
All PR is good PR. Maybe not this one. But anyway, started off as a unicorn and not so good right now. But anyway, we'll see where that one goes. No doubt we'll hear again about Venice AI. But let's take a break there, folks. And when we come back, our short, sharp news bites. Here's Steve Smith buying a coffee. He's actually also investing in crypto at the same time, using Bamboo. You take care of drinking coffee with your mates. We'll take care of investing the small change. Start investing your change today with Bamboo. Welcome back. You're listening to the Crypto Curious podcast, and it's time for our short, sharp news bites brought to you by the Bamboo app. I'll go first. This is one of my favourite ones this week. Scottie Pippen has crypto fever. From bulls to Bitcoin bulls. For the NBA fans out there, especially for the Dallas fans who need a bit of a good story or a distraction this week, Scottie Pippen is taking a wild leap into crypto at the moment. Anyone that's on X, check out his page at the moment. The Chicago Bulls legend has taken a full deep dive into crypto at the moment. He's been around the crypto scene, for anyone on there, for the last year, but he started with his tokenization of a 91 finals game 5 basketball. But now he's really started posting a lot of really unusual things, visions of Satoshi. He actually claimed late last year that he met the Bitcoin creator back in 1993. And he did this at an event and he was sitting there with Michael Saylor when he said that. And there's video footage going around of Michael Saylor's reaction. If you haven't seen it, it's quite funny, actually. I think it was a meme late last year. And now he's doing all this really weird and unusual AI art that he's putting out into the ether as well. And he's posting once or twice a day at the moment. And he's gone from being a maxi now to posting a little bit about Ethereum and Solana. And he's turned into a full degen, which I think is really cool. Not quite sure where he's going with it, if he's going to launch something or if he's just becoming a maxi or if he's going through some kind of midlife crisis. But it's huge because he's got a massive amount of followers and it's really engaging. And a lot of other maxis are engaging with him on X. So go Scottie Pippen.
That's it. All right, next up we have Base. Base is the layer 2 solution that Coinbase has built to allow people to easily transact in a decentralized way. And what we're seeing here is that they're getting incredible retention rates. Now, generally, when people start using a new layer 2 or a new blockchain, people give it a go and then they move back to the ones that they most feel comfortable with, meaning that most blockchains have like a 90+% churn rate. Or what we mean by churn is drop-off rate. But Base is holding about 15% of their customers, double the industry mean or the industry average, which just really goes to show that their product is a lot more sticky and people are enjoying using the product. And as a result, they're sticking around. So this is a great one to see and watch. And I think Base is going to continue to do great over the coming year.
Another good one, guys. MoonPay has announced they've onboarded over 1 million new crypto users in January of 2025. This comes after partnerships with Phantom and Moonshot, which is that new meme coin app which Trump launched on one of the biggest retail onboarding events of all time. They've said that 78% of MoonPay users left the platform within 3 months due to high fees. So that's not a good sign for them, but that's some pretty impressive numbers on board that users to crypto in 1 month. So let's see how it go.
All right, let's see what else there is. The Czech Republic and their national bank is eyeing off a Bitcoin reserve. They're just talking about this one at the moment and having a look at this, but their governor is pushing for this and apparently he's quite keen. Now, this is in the EU and the EU aren't too friendly at the moment when it comes to Bitcoin reserves. So this could be potentially the first ones in the EU to be stacking sats. So we'll see how that one goes.
All right, next up, Uniswap V4 goes live. So this is the 4th version of the decentralized exchange Uniswap, which allows users to have more control over the liquidity that they provide and the trades that they make on the platform. V3 was a massive upgrade. I used it and found it incredibly user-friendly. Can't wait to give this one a crack over the coming weeks. Uniswap has processed $2.75 trillion in swaps. So this is really going to help them accelerate growth in the ecosystem and definitely one of the dons in the Ethereum ecosystem. So one to watch here.
Let's hope that brings back some DeFi renaissance. Now, to wrap things up, we've been talking about Bitcoin, the volatility of crypto, but it's probably worth mentioning gold has surged to a record high. You might be wondering why we're talking about gold. Gold is available on the Bamboo app, actually, gold and silver, and it's soared to a price of 2,800 ounce as the US dollar also strengthens. So gold just keeps ticking away as a good diversified asset where you can seek safety when there's crazy shit going on, like tariffs to every country and Trump trying to take over Greenland. Gold has its place, and why not add it to your Bamboo app?
Yeah. Shout out to the Bamboo users holding gold in their portfolio. Well done to all of those users.
Yeah, boy.
And, yep, obviously.
Do you guys have gold in your portfolio?
Always. Got to have.
Mate, part of a healthy, diversified portfolio, Craig. Tell us about your portfolio.
Are you a gold digger, Craig?
So no gold diggers in my portfolio. Sadly.
Oh, look, it has been a wild 24, 48 hours, big week of news. And I think we'll leave it there. But stay curious, stay connected, bring a friend along. If you're listening to us now, you can actually see us also on our YouTube channel, which is now live. If you want to watch us fumble our way through this episode as we get better at doing this live. And make sure you join us on our Facebook group and our Instagram page. And also we have a newsletter that goes out weekly, so please subscribe to that one. And hit the subscribe button wherever you are listening to the podcast right now. We'll be back with you next week. As always, if you do want to join lots of people who have gold in their portfolio with the Bamboo app, you can use the code CURIOUS. When you do download the app, there is a code in the show notes below. And that is all for this week. Join us again next week. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.